Now cover that entire surface area with photovoltaic materials or solar panels. Remember, all of the surface area I am talking about. This is yet another way of generating money that is a worthwhile investment. Really, the crops grown are limited to the climate of the region. This means you can only get a few harvests a year. Then fall, winter, and part of spring, the land is not even being used for crops.
Thanet, the biggest greenhouse in the world. I am amazed that this huge greenhouse even exists. Although from this perspective, it looks like they're building something else the same size. Could you imagine 2 of these structures? I certainly hope so, considering this is the plan. The site will contain 7 greenhouses, each the size of 10 football pitches, or 10 football fields to us Americans. Huge greenhouses. Let's use our knowledge of the planet sciences in combination with today's technologies. Never again will seasonal weather determine the cost of food. Everything will always be in season. By having many more harvests per year, prices will go down. We will not be subject to severe weather conditions that can destroy entire crops for a year. This will keep the prices low. Build at least 4 of these structures spread out in America and more throughout the world. Every country self-sufficient. We will still trade goods and services. If one is destroyed by nature, we are not devastated. Let's make too much food everywhere. The food we do not use could be turned into ethanol. I would like to start with the farmland destroyed by flooding in the Midwest. I think that would be the perfect location to first build a huge greenhouse in America. After that, build one in Alaska, Canada, or somewhere in the desert. This is the perfect way to utilize land that normally would be unusable, especially for crops. Still need some form of geothermal power collection from the greenhouse. That energy must be collected before all that heat is released into the environment. It is unacceptable to release the heat into the environment. In cold areas, it will be necessary to use the heat up to keep the wind turbines and the photovoltaics clear, but no more. In fact, in the Arctic regions, this is the perfect opportunity to put out much more cold than heat. Reverse a little of that global warming. Design changes. What could be done differently? How could you make more money from the same acreage? Install wind turbines and photovoltaics, as many rows as possible. Each source of income will generate enough money to be a worthwhile investment. Since the land is truly being utilized, the farmers will no longer need government money to run their farms. I do not want any glass on the exterior. The greenhouse will be a solid structure. This is a very large investment. Glass is a very fragile and dangerous ceiling. I do not want the greenhouse destroyed by a storm. In a non-hurricane strength storm, you should be safe in a building. Add a few airport terminal style walkways to make it easier and faster to travel and transport. Make the greenhouse at least 2 floors. This way you get at least double the crop size with year-round harvests. A few more design changes. Condominium style homes. Each home must be owned. Seems ideal for futuristic environment, but I just can't see a way not to be charged a monthly rent. Someday, someone will charge yearly then monthly for landscaping and maintenance. Install the minimum renewable energy generated per household to be no less than 150% of their maximum projected usage and property taxes for a year. This way, they don't pay for energy or property taxes, hopefully ever. Everyone gets shared profits from the energy, greenhouse, ethanol, and ethanol byproducts. First floor, transportation and storage. Second and third floors, greenhouse. Fourth floor, home, bedrooms, and bathrooms. Fifth floor, home, bathroom, kitchen, gym, living room, entertainment room. Sixth floor, roof, renewable energy and batteries, possibly electromagnet. Maybe even a floor for shops, parking, food, and community centers. With the huge greenhouse's size and potential population, it could be a self-sufficient city. Well lit with 24-hour video camera surveillance, bike, walking, and running paths separate from roads. A couple small electric golf-sized car paths in the greenhouse. Build with the assumption of adding another level above and below by alternating floor patterns, odd, even, to increase structural integrity. Wind turbines can drop straight down or rotate into the roof depending on what is less likely to have problems and which is easier to be done manually when necessary. With this design, it is much easier and safer to maintain. Again, I hate wasting money, and this is just another way of securing a big investment. Operations of the huge greenhouse.
Far more than a living wage combines low-paying, high-paying tasks. Instead of a low-paid picker, you now have a very well-paid electrician, wind turbine engineer, photovoltaics engineer, and hydroponics organic gardener. Mix a few low-paying tasks with high-paying tasks. No matter the salary, everyone has excellent living conditions, far more than a living wage. As much as possible will be automated. You could monitor the wind turbine and photovoltaics from your home. Most of the time, you will need to do nothing with the solar and wind. Most of the garden is automatic, but you still need to be there. The commute to work would be the elevator or the stairs. When there are problems, monitor solar, wind production, and status from inside your home. When there are any problems, the system sounds an alarm and you are notified. You can even choose to be notified by text message to your phone if you are away. Once you respond, you will be given step-by-step directions on the monitor. You will also be given the choice to assign someone else that task. Here is where you have the opportunity to work overtime and to take time off. When you choose not to do a task and assign it to someone else, that money is taken directly out of your profits and given to the person who completed that task. Do or delegate. Each employee is responsible for their section and at least 3 other sections during their shift. We must take into account illness and the fact that some people will choose not to work. Some people will pay others to take on some or all of their responsibilities. Those that take on extra responsibilities get extra pay.
Some greenhouse sections will be used as a training facility to ease the adjustment in the new lifestyle, teaching how to maintain your green home. Those who request to have a larger greenhouse in the home to grow sources for ethanol first have to complete training at the facility before a large greenhouse is built.
Let's treat the oceans like a large saltwater tank. Collectively, we know the needed chemical balances and the different temperatures needed. So I say, let's prove it.
This is a topographical view of the northern hemisphere. The red arrows are warm currents, and the blue arrows are cold currents. The green and blue rectangles are suggested sites for greenhouses. I understand that some of the locations selected may be impossible to build on. I guarantee you that at least more than a few are possible. I know, why would we build greenhouses in an area that is warming ironically because of greenhouse gases? These greenhouses are also power plants. Let's use all that energy collected and focus it on achieving the optimum temperature in the water and ice. Filter the ocean, monitor, and correct the chemical balance. No pollutants released into the oceans. If we have to shield the water from chemicals used thereby shielding some of the cold produced, so be it. No pollutants. That means 0%. I do not know exactly how we will cool the water, but I do know we can turn water into ice instantly. Cool the warm currents that come from the south. These warm currents are warming water that should be colder than it already is. Cool down the cold currents that stay in the northern hemisphere. I bet we can restore some of those glaciers that have melted as well. I recommend making a few of the facilities prisons, at least until one of the forms of very fast transportation mentioned later is readily available. Not all locations can be prison facilities. Some ex-cons will choose to continue doing the same work after they have served their time. After all, we are training them to do this job to integrate back into society. We must ensure that the job we are training them for is an option outside of prison and not just for prisoners. Charles G. Hancock's Be Helpful, Not Hurtful movie and TV show. Send this to any and or all of the following people: Bill and Melinda Gates, Warren Buffett, Peter Chernin, Al Gore, Barack Obama, Bill Clinton. I cannot go public with this until I am a nonprofit and the website is capable of taking donations and selling raffle tickets.